Yeah! Hello and welcome to this 2v2 cast. We're on Hesse today, and we've got woeisme and Axis, two very good players, playing 5e and 2nd Panzer. I said 5e instead of 5 easy. Oh, it's over. And they're up against MegaDremmer, who I've not heard of, and Homelander. Homelander's really good, and they're playing 79y and 35y. This was a tournament game, so we'll do the deck reviews, and then we'll get on with the deployments. So, this was a 2v2 tournament game, and because of that, you should adapt the decks to suit that. Sorry, I am a little ill. So we've got 2nd Panzer and 5e in the draft. Now, the first check you can do if you're in a 2v2 is you check the number of CVs. So 3, 4, 5 in this deck, and 2, 4 in this deck. So, oh, I know, actually, he's got a third card here. So, 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 3 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Quick maths. They've got 12 CVs between them for Hesse. Is that really necessary? Or can they afford to remove a CV? For example, the Sultan here. Now, removing the Sultan isn't so easy because... Actually, no, I would remove the P4PC because the Sultan is still 3 availability and it's cheap, so you put this on your artillery to make it shoot faster. I'm hoping I see that during this game. Obviously, that's what we're here to see. So the first thing is the CVs, right? Second thing is like divisional composition. So generally people go for 1 airborne, 1 armored division because the airborne's got the really good early game and the armored's got the really good late game. But 2nd Panzer and 5e are both pretty OP divs. And in addition to that, this is Axis' only division that he ever plays. So a lot of it, this was a tournament game, so the enemy had bans. And in terms of woe is me, he plays a lot of 5e. He thinks it's OP, I agree. So he plays a lot of 5e. And so the enemy should have banned 5e and 2nd Panzer, like no doubt about it. If they'd done their research, they would have been able to ban these two divisions. So, yeah. They're on Hesse, which means you get a few differences. I mean, overall the decks look good. One thing I would say is that the shotgun fighter on 2nd Panzergren isn't that amazing. And so that could have been swapped out for instead planes coming in from Woe Is Me. Like he could have put the 2-card Mirage in. Sorry, the 2 per card Mirage in. You know, just minor things like that, synergizing with your teammates. But the main one, the easy one, the low-hanging fruit, is the CVs. And if you're going for an artillery-heavy composition, which these guys aren't particularly, you see these have both been updated, so he gets 2 instead of 4. Then 1 if you can bring a fob, but for NATO, that's not really necessary. So they synergize reasonably well. The fact that Woe is only bringing 2 CV cards... Oh, no, actually, he has brought a third one. So they've got 14 CVs between them, which is just massive, massive, massive overkill. Especially, like, you've seen the map, Hesse, there aren't that many zones. You don't need 14 CVs. Because, yeah, that's 7, and that is 7. So that's just an easy way they can improve their strategy. These look like 2 1v1 decks, basically. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. So another thing you can do is, you know, so do you really need the Gepards? Could you instead bring 2 cards of Eyehawk and then upvet them so you've got 4 Eyehawks and then use your 4 Eyehawks to cover both you and your teammate? Things like that. There's lots of ways you can improve it. You can mitigate your teammates' weaknesses with your own strengths. But both of these divs are broken, so there doesn't really need to be much of that. One thing that would have been really cool, and is especially effective in 2v2s, is 2nd Panzergren with Lars. So for a cheeky 3 points, right? For starters, I guess he doesn't want to use smoke for the whole game. Like, this is massive overkill on tube artillery. I would get rid of that for starters. You can get the Lars, right? You can. So we spoke about getting rid of a CV card, right? But basically, you'd want a fob here. And, getting rid of this and having your teammate cover it, for example. So you can get rid of that. And then, yeah, we spoke about getting rid of the Gepards, and then you've got 4 Eyehawks. And if you need chain gun AA, the other guy's got the Tarask, which is like the most efficient chain SPAAG spag in the game. So yeah, then you bring the Lars, right, and you can either bring 4 or you can just bring 2 at one vet, and then you get that reload time down. But I think it's probably better to bring 2 at one vet. And with the last 2 points, you can get them off the smoke. And then you've got 2 Lars, and once you put the second CV next to it, they're going to be shooting every 4. Well, they've got to aim as well. So, like, they're going to be shooting about every 60 seconds. You're going to be shooting Lars at a target, 2 of them. And you've got the fob for it. And then, for your teammate side, he can keep that helo supply. That's a good idea because it will take things to and from the fob, and he can keep this as well. So that all makes sense. So yeah, just things like that. Just things like that. You can synergize. So that's that. Looking at their opponents, Homelander and I've forgotten the other guy's name already. MegaDremmer. They have gone for the classic airborne armored combo, and they have gone for a fob, and they have brought some grads. So that's great news. I think that was a very good idea. In terms of CVs, easy CV check. So to recap, the whole point is that the airborne gets there first, right? And does most of the air support most of the time. And then the armored division carries the late game with loads of tanks and artillery and stuff. So that's big. One thing I have seen used is the 35Y half grad. Is actually not bad at all. I used to hate on it a lot, but it is pretty decent. You get 2 in a card, and it reloads really fast. It fires really fast. It's like a Lars. It's basically exactly like a Lars, I think. Grad. Oh, mate, I'm not well. Lars 2. Oh, okay. It carries more rockets, but the Grad's higher caliber. Ranges are different. The reload times are the same though, and the aim times. The Lars, you've got to like interrupt it halfway through the volley, or you get counter battery, which is kind of annoying. so, so yeah, well, that wasn't his deck. So yeah, first thing, easy peasy, the CV check. So 3, 4, 5. 5 CVs here, which is sensible for a 2v2, and 4 CV, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 CVs here. So you could hypothetically get rid of the this card here, get down a card. It's a bit different here because bringing the CV tanks is basically always a good idea. Bringing the high vet CV tanks is always a good idea. I personally believe that the is this CV tank worth it? Well, the main issue is that you're literally losing 3 availability, and you gotta pay more for it. So yeah, I'd be swapping this out for more of these, and like you could even bring this at 2 vet, but it depends. I mean, in the game we'll see. Maybe he's constantly getting a CV in his tank blob, which would mean that yeah, bringing 4 might make sense. But we're just giving you ideas here, right? So yeah, I think that's a lot of Osas and Tunguskas, and it's a bit of a weird one here. Like, I'd be more of a fan of just bringing 4 cubs instead of one of these, and then you can use your 4 cubs to cover the whole map, and you can save yourself quite a lot of points here actually. So the Osas at the start kind of do make sense. And the Strela Igla kind of thing, so that kind of makes sense, right? But you don't really need that Tunguska, and you could downvet this default. Like, losing 2 for 5% accuracy is not worth it. If it went 3-2-1, which it used to, this would be sensible, but it doesn't. So I hope you enjoyed that deck review. It's always a bit different for team games because, you know, yada 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 yada. Right, so we discussed the tournament game thing, right? You should ban your opponent's best divisions. Both of these guys are on their best divisions. You just got to do your research. Even if you just sit here watching Hippie YouTube videos all day, you will know that Axis only plays second Panzergrenadier. He literally doesn't play anything else. So you should just be banning that. Woeisme isn't really featured on the channel that often, but he has his own Twitch, which you can check out. It's just Woeisme TV, I think, on Twitch, and you would see that he plays 5EZ. It all depends how much effort you're willing to put into this, right? But if you're just paying attention, you'll know Axis only plays second Panzergren, so you should ban it every single game. So we're on Hesse 2v2. This map, basically, it's almost impossible to take Papa in November, so the whole fight happens over Golf Hotel. People can use that to their advantage. You can set up a screening force in India uniform or Papa November, just defensive units, machine guns, loads of machine guns and Milans. And then you put all your points into smacking into golf at the start or hotel, depending on which side you're on. Sorry, I'm a bit under the weather. I'm slowly getting better, but it's just... It upsets me. I suppose there's never a good time to be ill, but I was waiting 3 months for a week off, and then I get it, and then I get ill. But there's never a good time to be ill. So we got Homelander here with 35Y, and he has basically done what I just said. So he's got the screening force. I would be putting the screening force way further forwards because you can, if somebody's pushing you, you can just fall back. If there's a massive open field behind you, then no, you can't fall back. But here, there's just more buildings, more buildings, more buildings. So at the very least, this conquer should be going into this church because religious people can see further than atheists, which means that, you know, if you're in this atheistic dwelling next door, you can't see anything. But if you can see this, but if you're next to this church, you know, if you're in this church, you can see lots. I do wonder about the planning permission on that, right? I assume the houses must have been built after the church. Because, so in the UK, if you try and build anything, they get this thing with planning permission where they basically say you can't build it because you're blocking the light of the surrounding people. So which way's the sun? Where's the sun? Okay, so there's just sort of in the Warno verse, this must be how it is in France. There's actually no sun. Light just kind of appears. Oh no, actually I found it. I found it. I apologize to French people everywhere. So basically... the church must have come before the houses. It must have done. Because if you tried to build a church here, well, for starters, they just don't let you build churches anymore. Yeah, if you try and build it here, then you'll get blocked from, you know, you'll be blocking these guys' light. As you can see, they don't get light in their windows. And so in the UK, at least, they'll just say, no, you can't build it there because, or you have to make it like 2 feet tall because otherwise it's blocking my light, it's blocking my light. And then they say, why can't my kids afford houses, you know, because you just can't build, well, you know, why don't my kids go to church? It's because you can't build churches anywhere, bro. They're too tall. They just don't let you build them. So yeah, conquers in the church and then put that Desatniki like here maybe. Here's good. You are forward deployed. You should be using, you know, like definitely one of these. Like putting the conkers there makes sense there or there. But yeah, putting the Metis up to here would be sensible. And then if somebody attacks you, you just fall back. You just fall back, fall back, fall back, and you're buying time. You're buying. That's the whole point. You're trading space for time. Because there's not enough here to stop all this. If it really did want to just run straight down this road, it would get in. And so it's about, oh, he's shooting me, I'll stop pushing, right? And it just slows them down. It slows them down. So don't be giving up space at the start. Never give up space. Space is your greatest asset in this game. Because you can sell it for time, and you can trade it for points. If the enemy's coming towards you and you're, you know, he's killing you, You just keep falling back. If you can, obviously, if you fall back out of a zone, then you're losing, right? But the point is that you can sell your space for points. So never, if there's space on the table, never leave it on the table. Take it. Take that space. So over here, yes, he's at the front. I got to tell you though. Oh, okay, there is a BMP2 here. I was going to say, what's to stop somebody from just coming down here? But there you go, sorted. So yeah, forward deployed CV. And then on the right, we've got the nexus of the push here. So they're doing exactly what I've described. I haven't seen this. I don't know what happens. So yeah, loads of UAZs at the front. So Conkers, SPG9s. I think these are overpriced, but they are forward deployed. And they do have good stealth, which does make them really annoying at the start, especially on bigger maps like Airport. Anyway, at least one of them should be coming down here. Is there actually anything going down there? So at least one of them should be coming down here, because you don't know how far you're going to get, right? You might just die. Like, I suppose in this case you would just die. But, you know, you could get to here. You could get all this space. All this space. Anyway, they're running down mid, and to be honest, maybe it does make sense not to get it. As long as you've got just a recon unit here, something. Even just send that BTR 60PB to here, just to make sure nobody comes down this road and gets you. Because, yeah, if you start sending loads of units over here, it does make you push weaker. But, yeah, they are pushing with SPG-9s, Conkers, BMD-2s, 5 BMD-2s, and then MI-24K. This is why they brought the OSAs. Yeah, so I figured one card of OSAs at least. Well, I did say you should definitely have at least one card of OSAs. Because they're wheeled, so they're good for these forward openers. And then, yeah, you've got MegaDremmer behind him with the tanks, the BMP2s, the FOB. Where's the mortar for smoke? You need a smoke mortar. If you're going to do something like this, you need a smoke mortar, because if there's an AMX-10 here, you just can't see it, and it just starts killing everybody, and it's really annoying, and there's going to be some, it seems. So, on that topic, switching to their opponent's deployment, we got woeisme on the left, Axis on the right. Looks like they're just doing the standard lane brain deployment. Nothing inherently wrong with it. It's just they're gonna have some problems. So I think it would have been worth, especially like Axis, because he's got the airborne forward deployment. Sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. It's just because I'm ill, but I am sorry. Yeah, so FS Parmaland 2 to this building solves a lot of your problems. A lot of your problems. So that's a very usual case that at the start you will say, can you spot me a forward deployed unit? And your teammate should be like, yes. Because 5e, he's got the Sublime, so it's not the end of the world, but his only airborne forward deployed are Dragon Paras that have no anti-tank capability, and you know, just a Milan 2 in there. Or just an FS Jaeger in there. Just one at the start would be cool. So, yeah, on the left we've got sort of fairly standard 5 easy deployment. So, Sublime... they must have bought a bunch of planes or something. Oh, no, I see. Oh, okay. So they think a rush is coming. They just think it's coming for November. Well, that's just one of those things, right? You just guess, and sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. What I would say is the likelihood of it happening here is always going to be much greater, because these zones are closer together than these zones. So just something to keep in mind. So yeah, I was like, where's all his units? Well, they're over here because he expects a rush. So yeah, having this here is intelligent because it covers a lot of ground. And the Bren, I assume, will get repositioned. But yeah, it seems like they think something's coming down here, or something's coming over here. Whereas here, they're very thin on the ground. So 250 cals, 2 Milan 2s, 2 Brenni, one of them being the CV variant. And then, yeah, 3 Fliegerfaust, Panzer Grenadiers in cars. Like, this is a very cost-efficient unit for 35 points, because they got the DMR now. The DMR is like 2 machine guns. It's a good way of thinking about it. And so it's like a 3 machine gun unit for 35 points. You know, a machine gun's like 2 rifles. These are rough figures, right? So it's 6 plus 4. They fight with a strength of 10 men for 35 points. And they got a fairly decent rocket launcher, for the price, I mean. And yeah, so 3 FS Jaeger, FS Palmer Land 2, that is a good building. And yeah, some recon. Like, so basically, if you're blue, you do have an easier time pushing India than the enemy has pushing Papa. And the reason for that is this these commie blocks over here, which can see pretty far. If blue gets stuff to here, Milan 2 there, this is the main reinforcement road for red. It just shoots everything. It sees everything, it shoots everything. You can literally see into the zone. So this is advanced Hesse strats. This is why you watch Hippie. Thank you. I do appreciate it. So yeah, you put a guy here, you can see into here. So very important. And Homelander's just given this up. If you lose this as red, you lose this zone. It really is that simple. So yeah, let's cast a game. Do it from this perspective. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. I'd like to apologise to them, actually. They usually get the videos roughly a week early. Sometimes they get it 6 months early. They also get exclusive videos, and they'll get access to my hit game Hesse Hero when it releases in 2025, God willing. But basically, I've been ill. I am ill, as you can tell. I'm getting better though. You can probably tell, depending on how many videos you watch. So they haven't been getting them early recently. I'm going to try and make it up to them by making some more members exclusive videos. Because yeah, I do apologise. It's just I was on holiday and I sort of told everybody, look, I'm going to be away visiting my family for Crimbo, and then I'm going to come back and make all the vids. And I came back and I got ill because my family coughed on me for Christmas. That was my Christmas gift. So yeah, here we go. They're in. It looks like they bought Mirages. Yeah. That was a good Alouette scout, actually, from woeisme. They probably should have realised now that there's not much here, and Axis needs to push up those units. And yeah, woeisme, he's taking these round. He could... Like, from this, he knows there's nothing here, so he can move this up to here. That means that then the Brenai can come up this road. It's just a small thing. But yeah, you're taking space all the time. The SPG-9s just immediately get eviscerated by all the tanks. I mean, who saw that coming? But yeah, this is the situation where you need the smoke. This zone is really easy to defend because you put guys here, you put guys here, you shoot them from the left, you shoot them from the right, you shoot them in the middle. Having said that, they are just massively outnumbered. And there's a limit to what men can do against such reckless hatred. Having said that, I've been saying that too much. Red, where's the recon? They only had 1 recon heli for that whole push. Surely that can't be right. Massive lack of recon in that push. They should have had at least 1 infantry recon, something a little bit tanky, you know. The Dragon Paras are making a good account of themselves. That's mainly because Blue has stopped pushing. Tornado Cluster, that is going to get a lot of kills if the MegaDremmer doesn't wake up here. Oh dear. Well, it only got 2, but it survived, which is crucial. So yeah, Axis is now pushing here, and they are bolstering this. Like, the fact that this has just been allowed to sit here, Axis should know there's literally nobody here. You need to run in there right now. And this Milan 2 needs to get to this building. He's noticed the efficacy of the building, but if this Milan 2 was here, it would start killing all these. So that needs moving up. The Brenai, the direction has changed, so they've just seeded the zone. Which, honestly, not a bad idea. They saw how much was there, and they said, we can't get that one back, let's just jump. And so he only lost 1 Sublinde out of the 2, and he saved both of his tanks. Most of his units actually survived, and now they're going hard on this one. So yeah, they need to go all in, and this is the main problem, and it has been spotted. And yeah, the Milan 2 is being moved up to the wrong building. I mean, this can do as well. And yeah, like, you can start doing advanced strats, like unload this, use the car, put it there, get it there faster, but you know, it's so easy for me to say these things, and it's so difficult for people to do it. Buying artillery at this crucial point in the game, I would not have recommended. I think he should have bought 1 minute more units there. This is a very good unit. You need it at some point, but right now, your main focus should be taking India. Clearly no Brits on the blue side of it. Oh no, actually, well, I suppose they are doing it. So, yeah. So, woe is me using the Super Pumas. It's intelligent, right? Because the Super Pumas get there faster than the car units. Because when you buy a Super Puma or any helicopter, except at the start they start off on the ground. And that's like an anti-helo rushing mechanic because they have to take off. That takes time. When you... And there you go, the power of the upvetted OS's 60% accuracy. What was I saying? Sorry, I'm really ill. The main way it messes with me, because obviously I can just take copious amounts of codeine and stuff for the pain and so on. The main way it messes with me is it makes me stupid. I don't know what to say. I just lose my train of thought. But this is working. That arty piece is firing. It's already fired 6 rounds. But yeah, that's 1 minute's income. That could have been like 2 of these. So 4 extra units and change, like a supply. Because artillery takes time to pay for itself, and right now you need to get in. The alternative in this position would have been the Lars. So what Red needs to do now is come over here. Because they're just sat there and nobody's fighting them. They're just sat there. They need to come over here with these units to November. Not all of them, right? But at the very least, send somebody, scout, something there, kill it. Because all of this right now isn't doing anything. Whereas almost all of Blue's units are employed. I really do wish there were advanced overlays for this game. And yeah, you see what an LOS nightmare this part of the map is. So did that survive the last volley? Or... Yeah, it must have done. I believe there's a Conkers one shot on AMX-30B2. Let's find out. That's a Leopard 1A5, but it's got the same armor. I missed. It's a pain. Anyway, it would be great to see a thing. You know, how many units are currently engaged as a percentage? That would be an absolutely fantastic overlay. Because if you're a rank 1 player, which woe is me is, I don't know if he is right now. Well, okay, right now he's not. He's currently an anime person. But he has been a rank 1 player. He's up there somewhere. I'd like to take this time to tell you that I was also the rank 1 player once. But basically, if you've got a unit, it should be shooting all the time. That is the optimum play. If you're a perfect player, all of your units are doing something all the time. None of them are ever just sat there. They're always doing something, whether that be moving to a new place to shoot, reloading, or shooting. Obviously, that is... I say obviously too much. It's a bit infeasible, right? But it's something to aim for, rather than something you'd achieve. But yeah, they've done a great job at taking this zone, and I really think Red have just wasted their momentum here. They took this before they took this, and they're just sitting there. You know, at the very least, these flanks should have been swept. Push up to here, get it. Like, these are just sat in a field not doing anything. They've got good RPGs. They should have been up to here so that they can't get back in. And all these armoured units should be moving. That's what they're for. But instead, they've just sort of like, okay, we've got that one. Let's start a new game over here. Whereas Blue, they kept their units alive, and they did actually rotate them. Oh, this one stayed. But there was an AMX-30B2 here, and I think it's over here now. You know, the ones from the middle, they moved over to here. So it's just one of those things, and it's obviously way easier to talk about it than it is to do it. But it is important. So, yeah, this is a decent spot. Obviously this one is better, simply because it lets you see up to here, and he sent the recon out from here to here, which was sensible because he needed to force that Conkers out, but this recon needs to be refreshed because it literally lets you see into the back of the enemy zone and kill his CV, and you'll notice that they did lose their CV there. But yeah, this is rough, man. Like, all these units, all this power, not doing anything. Although I think they might have sent the tanks. They might have sent the tanks, because I only see BMP2s here. So maybe they did send the tanks, because like, how did this get here? So that's something at least. And yeah, the NATO blob, it grows, and yeah, this is a very difficult zone to hold on to once the enemy gets over here. So what Red need to think about now is the next zone. Sooner or later, you got to be like, okay, this is one over, bros. We need to. It's a decent synchronization there. Might kill it actually. Ah, never mind. I'm surprised he goes for the. Oh, never mind. That's the tornado IDS cluster. So yeah, good airwave. It's a shame that seed wasn't out. It must have been repairing or something. I mean, that's obviously something you'd want there. But none of them died, so it worked. And that, don't know if that was from a bomber or what. So yeah, I was going to say how good this one is, because it's got 60% accuracy. But then it just died, so let's forget about it. So there you go, he has put this back up here. But yeah, the recon would be fantastic. Anyway, from Red's perspective, they've got to stop pushing and start worrying about the next zones now. And all these units just sat here not doing anything. It breaks my heart. So Blue are pushing here, which is sensible, because basically if you want to push Victor, you're just getting closer and closer to the enemy spawn, which there should be an attempt from Blue here. They've got a big excess of units to try and get somebody over here again, because if you get to here, it's literally one over for Red. But I can understand that the momentum, the concentration is on this, and that was a very good idea because there's nobody here. And it's going pretty well for Blue right now. I know Red's ahead on points, but it's just the fact that most of their army isn't doing anything. If Blue take this, they'll start ticking up. Ah, here we go. I guess one thing I could point out is the lack of smoke. There's no smoke. There's no smoke mortars anywhere. I can't remember if 5e brought one. I know 2nd Panzer didn't. He just brought extra 155s, which you honestly don't need. If you want even more arty, just buy a CV and put it next to you. There you go, there's the seed. Oh, he switched it off. So basically you can switch the guns off and still shoot the missiles on the Tunguska. It's pretty cool. Because the missiles are on a separate Saklos system, apparently. I don't know. I do feel like Blue are buying a few too many planes here. Because, you know, Red, they're right next to their spawn, and they should have 4 Cubs, but they went for the other strat. But either way, you know. And yeah, just nothing happening here. I don't know what to say. This obviously never got used, but that's more because Red doesn't have time to buy artillery. They're massively on the back foot here, as you can see. So yeah, let's zoom in and look at the pretty colours, because I can't think of anything to say. Like I said, I'm stupid now. I'm going to be stupid until I get well again. And then I'll only be slightly stupid. So yeah, Soviet tracers are green, but it's weird because some of them are still red. Like that was like a white. I don't know. But it is cool, it makes it look like Star Wars. I do like it. One thing that is weird though is how the sound fades out as you, because basically like this is the default zoom, right, more or less. And you can barely hear it, whereas when you put it here it's way too loud. So it's some sort of, it's the way the sound scales with the distance. They need to make it so it scales less with the distance, basically. Because then you could listen to the gunshots. But because I generally am playing like this, right? But I don't get to hear the cool sound. So the sound design is really nice in this game. So yeah, Red has managed to get back into here. No smoke mortar. Oh, will he get it? No Lars. Imagine if you had 2 Lars here, man. Imagine that. These are good. Like, they are really good. I would be bringing them as well. But I would be bringing 2 Lars, and I'd be the arty commander. And then woeisme would be free to get rid of one of his AMX South 1s and just get more of something else. Yeah, like just laws, and there's no guy here, the recon guy. So I don't know, but Blue suffered a lot of casualties here. I mean, it has been quite an aggressive attack right next to the enemy spawn, basically. I mean, they're just getting their reinforcements and so much faster. You look at the distance. These guys have to come all the way down here, and these guys, it's like a third of the distance, if that. Especially on this side, like there's literally right there. Whereas here they've got to go all the way down there. So here it's like a quarter of the distance, but yeah. Anyway, just vibe checking, I guess. Now he's got, yeah, he's marked artillery targets, so MegaDremmer here should be moving his Osas because they've got less than 1 top armor, and this will kill an Osa. Obviously, it depends on dispersion and luck and so on. Yeah, blue needs an artillery, needs an infantry injection. Honestly, I would chalk up their loss of momentum there to just massive plane overinvestment. The planes, how many planes did we see? Like 6 to 8? Let's go for 7 planes. And those 7 planes is roughly 7 minutes income. You know, like for one person. And so, let's say 3 minutes without ground purchases. And the enemy has just been buying ground units. We have just seen 1 plane from them. So yeah, blue, they lost a lot of their momentum with the plane spam. And you know, a lot of people, they rate plane spam. I think it's not as great as people think it is, mate. And that BMP2, you know, it is 2 vet. It does go down there to a Milan 1, despite having 4 armor, and that's because the autocannon contributed a lot to that. So yeah, like the artillery makes sense because they're planes that don't, you know, at this stage in the game, they're planes that don't die. But yeah, I think they bought too many planes. Wow, did all 3 of those miss? What are the chances of that? So yeah, I think, well, obviously Homelander doesn't get tanks, right? So he's got to start buying something. So there you go. That was really unlucky runs. Not sure what happened there. And they lost the CV though. The Leopard 1's ran in and killed it. So now they're on blue's on a +2. And red, they need to get this back. There needs to be a T80 BV here, basically. Stopping these guys from coming straight down the road and forcing them to take this route, which is slower. And then brings them into the buildings where they get shot by pretty decent motorstrokey BMP RPGs. The Panzer Grenadiers do fight really well, though, especially because of the DMRs. They just suppress people really fast, but the DMRs have a minimum range. As you can see, it's not shooting, and that is bad. But blue, on the +2, red has bought a CV, and you'll see that they're now trying to move over here. Because this is right next to their spawn, so they can easily attack this. So it's good to keep it moving, keep it mobile. Because this will always be a sort of overextended position for blue. Simply just the distance to the spawn. You can't get your guys there as fast. And this will always be a relatively easy place to attack. It's just weird because, like, when red took the zone, they didn't really set up their defense. They just kind of sat around and forgot about it. So these are just not in a position to help, as you can see. Whereas if they were here, they'd be firing Conkers in, right? So 2 grads purchased. Yeah, good for the city. You know, good for the town. That's why I talked about the laws as well. Are these already back up? This is always 60-second reload, which is quite low. So yeah, I'm expecting big kills here because there's just no AA. And you see, he sends them all out together. So there should have been some Rolands in this push, or an IHawk. Obviously the IHawks are over here. But this is now looking a bit grim for blue because they lost all their momentum here. They are now attacking here. They will probably take this, but it just depends what happens first. You'll note that the scores are pretty even right now. And yeah, this is what we're trying to speak about. So if you want more arty, you don't just bring 6 tubes, right? It's a bit excessive. 4 is probably the maximum amount of heavy tube arty you want to bring in a game. And what you do instead is you put a CV next to them. You invest in a CV, and then that makes these shoot faster. Look, they're now shooting every 60 seconds, every 70 seconds. And the lack of smoke from anybody, I'm not seeing single smoke this game. It's really weird because I feel like there's a lot of games where one side starts using smoke and then the other guy's like, oh yeah, smoke. And then they start using smoke. Because for now, it's... oh no, if he loses that, that's huge. That's 1 per card. French nose guns are going to kill it. Yeah, French nose guns, the best in the game. Obviously in real life they're not, but... And that's where these were switched off, I think. I think they were switched off. Oh dear. But yeah, if you for example, oh, they got the CV again. They got it again with the howitzers. So blue now is going to be on a +4 for a little bit, and that'll give them the advantage. Although, well, this is about to cap, so I'll put that down to +1. But then this will put it up to +2 again. So it'll be +2. So yeah, Homelander now only buying planes, but he is VDV. Like he's done his groundwork. I do feel like he could be spamming out some ATGMs all over the place, but yeah, VDV late game is not great. Whereas both of these divs are strong for the whole game, more or less. So a lot of units not like, I mean, this T80BV is not in action. Do you know what I mean? Red, they need to get the recon here. We see the Avclair has now been purchased for the house. It's not in there, but it has been purchased. Also, it's not a house. And now it's even Stevens. We're back to starting positions. However, blue is now in the lead. The blue is now in the lead. And it looks like Axis might be able to take this back. So yeah, these things, I absolutely love them. I bring them on 8th. I bring them on every div that gets them. I'm pretty sure the Dutch div gets them as well. I always bring 2 now. Really good div. Really good asset. And yeah, they come at 1 vet by default, and then you put CV next to them, and then the 2 vet. Having said that, he's not moved them all game. Like, this is a counter battery disaster. They have less than 1 top armor. You know, if both grads went on this, they might kill it. Especially if they went on like this one, they'd kill all that supply. These things, oh, we got 5 HP. So yeah, now it's looking. I'd say blue has the advantage simply because there's not really a lot here to cover red. Like blue can just keep pushing in, and their divs. So 5E and 2nd Panzer are better than 79Y and 39Y, 35Y and 39Y, but they're not here today. Their divs are better, so a lot of this, especially in these tournament games, just comes down to the draft. Don't let your enemies play better divisions than you, and do not. If your enemy are known for just literally playing 2 divisions, 1 each, then ban those divisions so that they cannot play them. Sun Tzu once said, if your enemy spams 1 division all the time and refuses to play the other 38 divisions in the game, then ban his division in tournament games. So yeah, I do like these. I think they are very good. And it would get even better if he got a recon unit up to here, because then he'd be getting corrected shot. You see this circle here, that's from this, which he really needs to put that in the building so he can actually see. And then they would get corrected shot. As you can see right now, they don't have corrected shot. This circle here is actually from the enemy. It's just because we're in spectator view on neutral, it renders them both. But yeah, if you got a recon up to here, you'd be killing these a lot more effectively. Like here especially, if you had a recon up to here. I mean, it's still doing a lot, but it might even kill it if... it might have even killed it. Although the shots weren't synced up, actually. if he'd shot them both at once, I'd be dead anyway, most likely. Very exciting. So over here we've got woeisme's built back up. I mean, 5e is just a ridiculous division. You can kill all their units and they just get them all back in a couple of minutes. All their stuff's so cheap. High availability, very, very, very cost-effective division. It honestly, it just seems to me to stem from the fact that the game's made in France, but not for the reason you think. So it's not a case of let's just make them OP. It's a case of, well, we want all our cool French units in the game, but we've only got 3 French divisions, so let's just keep adding stuff to 5e over and over and over and over again. So, like, recently they got a bunch of reservists, so they're now a reserve spam division as well, and it's just like, what? It's very silly. Whereas if they had a 4th division, maybe their stuff would be spread over there. Other than, again, the UK's 4th division. UK got 4th division and it's just bad. So, maybe not. So, yeah, it looks like Axis has kind of given up on pushing this. I really do wish he'd put that up there. And I think maybe the focus is going to be here now. Or it seems that Axis wants to try and push here. And woeisme wants to push here. But with the fighting settling down, the enemy gets more time to build up. So this was actually empty, and now it's full of things. So moved by T80 BVs at a rate of 1 a minute, more or less. I mean, obviously, it's 265, not 260. And, you know, considering that these guys are the ones with the fob, we're not seeing a lot of RT. Whereas these arties are getting some pretty effective... Oh, he's finally moved it. So, yeah, you hate to see it. I mean, when there's a fob going, why not bring those 35 white half-grads? Why not? As you know from the deck review, which you definitely didn't skip, did you? Homelander, he didn't bring them. He didn't bring them. Also, we know Homelander's got a lot of helicopters in his deck. We haven't actually seen any of those yet. Particularly like here, I think a helicopter would have been useful. Did some jets shoot them down? Because if you remember, there's a bunch of armored stuff here, but there wasn't actually that much AA. It's like Fliegerfaust, and there are 2 Eyehawks back here. So here we go. Katsia's being purchased and stuff. Red really needs to defend this zone a bit better. You just see how many units 5 easy peasy can buy. It's just stupid. And it slows down. It slows down a little bit. Gives me some time to relax. I am very ill. I'm really maulding about it. I just try not to think about it. You know me, I never complain about anything. I'm a very stoic guy. Definitely not some Zoomer who just constantly complains 24/7, despite having objectively an easier life than probably about 80% of the planet. But my work is hard because I have to use my brain. 20, no, hang on, 25, 50, 75, 100, 125 points. That's 100. That's half a minute's income sat there, waiting to be sold. There goes 50 points. There goes 75 points. Oh, mate, that was a really expensive one. There goes like 220, no, hang on, 325 points, something like that. It's a very, very effective strike there. And a regular BMP2 died. What's going on? Homelander's telling his teammate to wake up. His teammate really seems to enjoy pushing without recon. Like, where is the BRM-1? Where is the BRM-1 with your tank blob? But they have brought smoke, first smoke of the game, with some of the best players in the game. First smoke out at 30 minutes in. What is going on there? Well, I mean, 35 wide, right? Obviously, this because the smoke came in first. There's 2 different players, right? The smoke was like, he's like, oh, I'll retreat out the smoke, and then the grad came, and so. Also, you don't put 2 on the same thing. 1 is sufficient. Nice try at counter battery. And I really think that Axis should be sending his guys to help his team. He sent some. It seems that Blue wanted to push here. But yeah, he needs to send them all, really, apart from the infantry, which can hold the ground. And imagine if you had 2 Lars, then, if some guy put the CV in the corner of your zone. Right? This is absolutely crazy battle. What the hell is going on? So this is the power of air spam, apparently. Teams that refuse to bring 4 Cub missiles. I mean, literally 79Y could have got 8 Cubs if he wanted. So deal with all this nonsense. Anyway, if some numpty decides to smoke the corner of your zone, you could just Lars it, bro. Otherwise, you're trying to hit it with these, which is difficult. Because, you know, they don't have a big splash and you don't know exactly where he is. Oh, mate, he's driven out of the zone. Where's he going? What's that? Oh, that was weird. I could hear, like, voices and stuff. I assume it's just in my head. So, yeah, that went pretty terribly for Red, I gotta tell you. Although now they've got an advantage. So as long as they can defend this, they'd actually win. So for starters, this needs to be behind something. I'm very concerned. Like, what on earth was that sound? Hopefully it was just nothing. I'm missing the action. So yeah, defensive helicopters is useful, and also having some ATGMs in these buildings would have been useful. The grads are resupplied. You can put the grad here and then target here, and then put it on return fire. But yeah, this is looking like a your classic kind of overextension followed by dying. Yeah, it's looking a lot like that, isn't it? Having said that, Blue is pushing without... they've still not dealt with this guy, even though they will eventually get it. They've not brought the rolling threes up, so the KAs are killing everything, and they can't use the planes on them because Homelander just seems to have an infinite selection of MiGs. So, oh, it's landed! What the heck? He's getting shot by a leopard! What? Anyway, there's those grads coming in, as we spoke about, and there was a second K-50 here. I guess it got shot. They need to be moving up to these buildings, really. But yeah, they're desperately trying to kill the helicopters, but they didn't bring any... Man, everybody's dead. Also, for some reason, this isn't in the zone, but this will sort it. I think Homelander should have bought a few less planes and a bit more defensive stuff here, you know? Defensive ATGMs and so on. Because everybody's dead. But, I mean, the loss of life that just occurred in the last 4 minutes is insane. And that's why it always blows my mind when people say things like, you said a rude word to me, I'm going to get you banned. You literally just watched about 15,000 people die. Well, okay, that's an exaggeration. It was probably about 1,000. Actually, it's probably less than that. It's probably a few hundred. How many people are in a tank? NATO tank 4, pack tank 3? How many people are in a plane? 1 or 2? How many people are in an infantry squad? 8. It was probably about 100 people just died here in 4 minutes. Those are rookie numbers, man. I mean, if you should read about Verdun. Whoa, what about? Honestly, it was worse than the Somme. Despite my biases, you know. So, yeah, Blue's winning now, or at least they've got. So Red needs to kill this, but they need a CV of their own, and they need to smoke a corner and get that CV in, or they can use a tank one, sure. But yeah, I think a lot of this comes down to failure of AA. The 10 trillion Osas, Tunguskas, Strellas, everything in the world except lots of Cubs, right? They only brought 2 Cubs. They could have had 8. Imagine 8 Cubs. None of this would be happening. Obviously, hindsight, etc. But, yeah. So, it looks like Red are going to stop the tick soon. Is another Blue CV coming in? No, just lots of helicopters. And... okay... That's gonna stop, but will it stop in time? He needs to smoke. What's he doing? He's dead. No, he's not. I thought that was a cluster one. And presumably the RT is about to hit him. That's where I'd be. But yeah, it's getting pretty obvious that blue wants to counter push here now. This one isn't really working. Mainly because MegaDremmer just keeps buying tanks. But once again, AA problems. No man pads, right? No man pads. Homelander, you know, he gets scratch hits and stuff. As soon as this happens, your Akatsias need to be shooting those. Or your grads. Take one. Yeah, CV's dead, so they need a backup immediately. They need to be smoking their own corner of the zone to keep their CV alive. 5 minutes left. Red's still winning, but the blue CV is about to come in, and there's no red CV here anymore. It's not looking good for red. This push here, I doubt it'll succeed. Although, having said that, the Desat Niki with the ATs, 20 pen, aren't in the right place. They're not here. They're here where they can't do anything. So, this will get pretty far. Let's see how many of that BMP2 kills. Then, yeah, you can see that CV's in over there. Just didn't want to miss the action. The smoke obscures some baddies. Did that drop? Oh, mate. No, it didn't. So, yeah, the smoke, the power of smoke. People, they're like, oh yeah, smoke. Because I see this all the time. I smoke somebody and then they start smoking me back. Although I am like a little smoke gremlin. I literally do nothing but smoke. So yeah, +4 for blue. It's looking like it's going to be a blue victory. There is a red CV in here. This guy does have 18 pen, not 20. That BMP2 though, if it shoots... oh no, okay, that was a bit weird. What the hell's going on? Got shot in the side, he's dead. It takes ages to neutralize the zone. Oh, no, don't drive out, don't drive out, don't drive out, don't drive out. Ah, it's now neutral. Homelander, he's trying to tell him, bro, please, no, he's dead. I don't think it would have made a difference given that they're already on a +2 here. But that was pretty sad. It's just, for some reason, if you get a CV into a zone, it neutralizes immediately. But if your CV dies, it takes like 20 seconds for the enemy to cap it back, even if the thing's already in the zone. It's just dumb. Doesn't make any sense. Because it means that it like encourages you to just throw a CV in a zone to get like a 100-point advantage. It's really damned. Anyway, the blue has stopped smoking. Lad. That should have been smoked. There should have been a smoke there and a smoke there. You don't smoke right on top of it because then they RT it. You smoke here, you smoke here. If you can, if you've got a good LOS, right, you've always got to search for those. Sometimes you're literally just sat in an open field and then yes, you have to smoke yourself. So, blue CV here, probably not going to make it, but it's a nice try. But yeah, red. What does red do now? There's 2 minutes left. They're trying to go in. You see the defensive ATGMs. This is probably about to die. Oh no, it missed. So the next one will kill instead. Smoke. Smokes and dies anyway, because the ATGM keeps going in a straight line. And yeah, he wasn't fast enough. So there you go. So you've killed it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Like, what? Why? But yeah, that was a really good game. I'm really glad I watched that one. I do apologize for the ill commentary. You know, the less intelligent ill commentary. You know, but what can I say? Is very much over. But the scores are not really representative of what actually happened. I do feel like 75% of this game, though, was red drafting badly. 79-39-35, sorry, is a decent combo. But, you know, why not ban second Panzergren, maybe? against the guy who's famous for only playing second Pantagruel. And Homelander's played against Axis so many times. It's not like he doesn't know. And 5e on woeisme, I mean, that's a bit harder to know about, but he does play a lot of games, just not on the Hippie YouTube channel, because obviously, as we spoke about, he's got his own Twitch stream. I suggest you check it out. And therefore, there's no point in me covering his games because, well, it's already been covered, so he's covering it himself. So, yeah, cool. What can I say? It was a really good game. Just waiting for it to close out. Some panic tactics here. These all have autocannons. So they're just going to kill them. And yeah, there's Gap there anyways. But yeah, look at that, man. I mean, the mighty T80 BV dying to AMX-30. Yikes. So yeah, to recap, draft better. I don't know. I'm just too tired. I'm too ill. So yeah, GG to everybody. I mean, the KDs were all pretty similar. It was a really close game. I know this guy's rank 54. He literally just plays one division all day. So if you're in a tournament against him, just ban that and then you'll win. woeisme, plays a lot more divisions, but generally he plays a lot of. His rank's gone down quite a bit. 30. He used to be rank 1, but so did I, right? MegaDremmer. Yeah, I figured as much. He is not a weak player by any means. He's a very good player. But out of these 4, he is the weakest player. And then Homelander, who just has a trillion games. So I will see you around, GG.